first off, what are your thoughts on this? And let me acknowledge the Honorable Seti J. Champon, former, chair of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament and former Regional Minister of the Eastern Region. He's on Zoom. Welcome, sir. We'll come to you in a minute. And also my senior Nipa Samuado and a few others. Franklin Kujo is also on his way here, and then we'll see him shortly. So, what are your thoughts on these investigations and issues being dealt with, the way all these things are happening? What's your thought on those things?
I mean, the searches that are being done.
Yes. First of all, can we say there's been a discussion about searches generally, and the fact that a search is conducted doesn't make it illegal necessarily, correct?
No, searches may not be illegal. Searches, a police officer of the rank of superintendent can issue a search warrant or so to his subordinate to go and search, a police officer without necessarily going to court. And there is the other one which also requires that you go to court for the judge to give you a warrant to search. And most of the searches that are conducted are in respect of items believed to have been stolen and maybe stashed away somewhere. It could be money, it could be any property that are suspected stolen and being hidden somewhere. So that is when they normally issue search warrants for officers to go and search. My experience in the police is that when you are a superintendent or above, you can just fill out the form. I don't know the exact CID form. And then you indicate what is to be looked for. And then the officers who are going to do the search, the superintendent of police or above, can issue that search warrant. Alternatively, you can go to court.
How different is the one the senior officer can give from what you have to go to court?
We have CID forms, and then that form will be...
How different are the two? Are there circumstances that the judge or the magistrate should...
You see, it depends on the urgency of the matter. If you are investigating a case, somebody has stolen items there. Before you go to court, it may take some time before you get the magistrate to sign. So the police officer who is on the case can give that search warrant for his boys to go and search. Or he himself. If he himself is part of the search party, then he is a moving warrant. So there is no point in writing, filling out a form for his subordinates. So sometimes a police officer, superintendent and above, being part of the search is a search. It's a moving search warrant. So he can go without any, document and then conduct the search. The other one is from the court, where probably because of public interest and all that, nobody wants to do anything that will incur the wrath of the general public. So then the court, you go to court for the court to issue the search warrant for the warrant to be executed. But we are talking about these searches that are going on, and whether those who are conducting the search have the capacity to conduct the search. Because normally CID officers have been conducting searches and they know how to conduct search. I know Yoko also have been conducting searches, so they have officers who will be able to conduct searches. And then we have the BNI or the NIB. So we have institutions where officers in these institutions are able to conduct searches more effectively. And so if there are searches to be conducted, even if it is national security that is taking care of these searches, I mean, national security, NIB can work for national security, police, CID can work for national security, UOCO can work for national security. So for me, my problem is, why won't they use, if they are not using the police, CID, if they are not using NIB, and they are not using UOCO, and then they are using people who have question marks around them, it creates problem.
But we don't know the full complement of the team. We only see, or we've only heard of one person. But perhaps they are Yoko officers or police officers as part of the team. We do not know that yet.
Yeah, but that one person is the one that people are talking about. So why wouldn't he, if he's the director of special operations, sit back and let somebody do it?
Why should he sit back?
Why? Because is he conversant with such procedures?
Because he's been a former security person. Perhaps
he's a soldier. He was a soldier. And soldiers don't search civilians. It is not
maybe he has some training in that. We don't know.
What training? Where did he get the training from?
We don't know that.
Even police officers who are police officers, not everybody knows how to do search. When you conduct search, courtesy demands that after you have even conducted the search, the professional will tell you that you make sure that you reset the room, you reset the premises the way you came to meet it. Ask them if they did that. That is how we do searches, out of courtesy, because you go to a place, it is not a personalized issue. It's not a personal vendetta that you go and search because you are searching, you put things here and there, and when you finish, you go.
Very well. Just hold on with your thoughts there. Let me speak to the Honorable Setije Champon. He's a former Defense and Interior Committee Chair of Parliament, and he's also a former regional minister, which means that he's headed a Regional Security Council and quite conversant with some of these matters. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program. We've seen this week a few... Very good and fantastic. Good to have you, as always. So this week has been interesting. A number of invitations, a number of detentions and questioning. We've seen the search in the former Bank of Ghana governor's residence. Your thoughts on this? From what the COP retired Bright Odro is telling us, searches are a normal part of things. Of course, the way the searches are conducted is important. What are your thoughts, really?
I think I couldn't have agreed more with COP Bright Odro. Selom, as a counsel and a learned person practicing in the Superior Courts of Ghana, I believe you have come across a lot of cases being discussed in court, being worked on in court, that people's rights are being abused and decisions are being taken. And I believe, as you know, and most of us know, we learn from our past. I think that these excesses we are discussing should not be discussed in this day and age of our democracy. Each time we pride ourselves that we have crossed over from one administration to a different administration. And we're saying we are a beacon of democracy. Democracy comes with responsibility. Like COP Bright Odro said, when you are tasked to take up an assignment, the assignment is not a personalized assignment. Once you wear the public badge, you are out there serving in the interest of the public. The public has left this country where we used to run under a military coup that took office and ran the state the way the leaders at the time chose. Over a period, 3 decades and more, we've decided on our own to practice a democracy that gives each and every person the opportunity to also speak their mind and express themselves within the confines of the law. The gentleman who is just being mentioned now, I am saying this and sometimes I get worried, because before a person is appointed into a place of public interest and authority, our constitution has prescribed and giving us certain standards as measurement. You don't just put any person whose conduct in his past public office is under review into such a sensitive position. COP Bright Odro, being so professional, stated that the person's training, he lacks the basics to conduct a decent search, which should be the norm and the practice under a democracy. I've heard most commentators talk about what did we see in 2017. This is 2025. Are we talking about equalization, or we're building a state and a country for ourselves? I believe we should sit back as a people and look at the things we're doing to ourselves. If you set up a bad precedents, and knowing the way human beings will behave, the next time, what will be the answer? Look at the images you have shown us. The search warrant. Was it stated in the warrant that if you go to a person's house and you find a rack which is recording video around the property, which will be evidence to aid after you have conducted a search, if in the event of the police taking up the matter and conducting an investigation, the police would need that evidence? How are we able to review to realize that certain officers went for a search and they misconducted themselves? Is by the big brother. By virtue of technology, we have these cameras recording each and every person's activity. Not too long ago, I'm so saddened when I got the news about a student taking the life of a fellow student in KNUST. How did the police arrive at arresting the gentleman? It was through technology, the video. So why would you go and conduct a search of not mean a person, a lesser person than the governor of the bank? We've had several governors. The current governor I used to be in school with in St. Peter's, my senior chairman, I respect so much. I don't think he was more treated this way. Even if he was, should we repeat same? Put that aside. The immediate past, no, the former finance minister, the way and manner images came from his home. Yes, the state wants to deal with an immediate public servant. We shouldn't go to him or the fellow, he or she, in that style. It doesn't add up to our credentials and our credibility as a beacon of democracy and how we want to be called. And for some of us, forever and ever, we'll criticize these actions. If the powers that be listening to us, happy for Ghana. But it is not Ghanaian. And I do you, you do me, as we call it in our local parlance. It's so unfortunate that I hear some people stand up to it and please, we should run away from that. It's not helping this democracy at all. And it will not help anybody. I witnessed 79 coup, I witnessed 81 coup. I've seen the transition. And fortunately, I've come to serve this country as a public servant. I live in private life today. I think we should do better, and we can do much better than that.
I see. So your problem really is not about the search, but also the one who conducted the search appears to be one that agitates your mind. Will I be correct?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's a teamwork. It's an operation. He's the leader. And mind you, the security service as always has been our command services. So if he is the director of operation and is commanding the men that he moves with, the officers he moves with, they go by command. What he says is what they do. I'm not just singling him out. I'm stating and advising all of us. Today, my good brothers and friends in NDC have power. We are appointing people. You should check their resume. The public service does not just recruit any person to be in high office. They check your conduct. They know who we are putting in office. It's a person who will help us. Let us grow as a country. That is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the gentleman. I have no business with him. I have no issues with him. But the appointing authority should do proper checks before we put people in office. You did not just select me to come and speak on this platform because I have a big head. You did not bring COP Briatodo to come and sit in front of you because he's just an ordinary police officer. You brought a former criminal investigations department director general, a person who has gone through the mill, has experience, because you want to enrich the discussion. And this is the Republic of Ghana we are discussing, and this is the Republic of Ghana we are talking about. That is why I'm speaking in this spirit. I want us to grow the country, irrespective of who is ruling Ghana or governing Ghana. The right things must be done. Because I wouldn't want to go into any country. If I fall foul to the law must deal with me, Kwame Champo. I won't run anywhere because I sat in parliament, I passed laws, I thought through them, I knew how the laws will work against you if you go foul against the law. And so if you are acting, you conduct yourself within, that's why we have code of practice, code of conduct. Why do we put all these measures around us? It's just to shape us. And so for me, bad. These are my initial comments on the search and conduct. I mean, that's what we're saying to them, that put a human face. The governor has not absconded. He's not out of Ghana. He's living in Ghana with his family. So if you think he's done something untoward, there's several ways of inviting people like that. Governor of Bank of Ghana is being treated like this. How much more me, a political animal?
The issue, so what then is human face? And we understand, at least from what COP retired Odrua said, searches are important. Searches are part of the processes. If I'm to invite you to my office, you will come and tell me what questions I'll ask you or give me answers to questions. But if I think there is evidence in your home, which you may not bring, the law allows me to search your home. And it's the democracy. It's a democracy. Part of the democratic principles is accountability. And ensuring that you account for your tenure is a core part of the democracy. It's so important for the survival of the democracy. So yes, invite him. Yes, human face. Yes, but we cannot do away with the search. Do you agree with that proposition?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what was stated in the warrant. I haven't cited the warrant. I don't know what items led them to go and conduct a search in the governor's residence. I have not been briefed. I have no knowledge about it, so I can't speak to that warrant. But the warrant instructs the actor on certain measures. What are those measures? We are talking about a country that has passed the law, freedom of information. Should that also be put under clandestine secrecy? This is a democracy we are running. You have to, where I'm seated here is the Republic of Ghana. If the security services need me immediately and they have to take me, they will come here, they have to conduct a search at where I'm seated. I cannot restrict them. That is what the law says we should do. We should abide by it. However, the actor in theater and in operation should also remember that I've also got some rights enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. And so in the discharge of your duty in your service, be mindful. I have defended security services on theater work which have gone bad in times past. And so I know what I'm talking about. That is why I'm advocating that what people did in times past, which was wrong, should not be repeated. I'm not saying because it is my party and my government that just left administration. No. We've been talking about precedents, and it's a cardinal principle of life. So if you want to repeat it, you do so. If you don't want and you want to move on as refined, you do so. Let me say this. The changes that COP Bright was talking about in the Ghana Police Service, I may have different opinion as to the stewardship of Dr. George Akupu Dampari. I agree with COP Bright on certain matters that he talked about. But to conduct an operation, to arrest criminals, you require logistics, you require inputs. And even the operation theater, to conduct an investigation, you need a sound mind. And I know that he knows that we require most of these things to give us the benefit of an efficient and effective security service. And so for me, the aesthetics contributes to part of work. Yes, within the service, we may have issues with the immediate past IGP's conduct on certain promotions. And I believe in the security services, there are established practices in promoting personnel, i.e. ensuring that they go through a certain season of experience and some service practice, as well as some come by academic, because they conduct in-service intellectual exercises to also, and you build on your tactics. So there are issues that we can debate back and forth.
Very well.
But I want to beg that going forward, irrespective, in as much as we will be blunt in speaking to the truth, let us also not personalize issues. I wouldn't want to do that. That's why when you asked me, is it about the person who is leading? No, it's talking about the whole team. Because he alone can go and dismantle somebody's rack and take away the routers and take away the systems in that rack, which would give us images to discuss and verify on second opinion. And these are things that we have to work against, Salo. Because I'll be sad that somebody comes to your studio and ransacks everything you are using to record what is going to give us a good memorial for archives and take them away. How would we be able to reference them? How would we be able to speak to them?
Very well. Franklin, I saw some of your messages in the course of the week, but I think as part of the things we talk about here every week, accountability is part of democracy. In as much as we know that the search was conducted legally, should we have a problem with it?
Well, ordinarily, no. Good morning, by the way, to my good friends on the show. Ordinarily, I don't think there's anything wrong if you were going to conduct a search. I mean, a search of this kind would have to be conducted in a very civilized manner. I mean, that's what I thought it is, really. Even if the person was a hardened criminal, unless, of course, maybe you have some very real information that this person is probably a terrorist and probably is likely to cause some real damage to maybe persons or whatever. I really don't know. Probably my thinking here is that you have to probably grade the levels in terms of the warrants you have, and then the level of force that you probably need to use in doing the search. I'm not saying you should call the person and say, well, listen, I want to come to you to search. I want to give you a cup of coffee. And no, that's not what I'm saying. I think it is just right that when you go do a search, we don't want to hear the things that we heard. We don't want to see the things that we saw. I don't think we are at that stage where sorry, I'm not saying that we are at that stage. We've passed that stage where you want to show someone where power lies. And indeed, as the Honorable did say, and the DCOP also said, look, at the end of the day, the optics actually also matter. I mean, the persons you send. I mean, in this case, who doesn't know Mr. Jakwa, right? Jakwa seems to be this guy who is on the... We all saw what happened. The previous administration wanted to virtually nail him. And so this guy is on a mission to avenge, if not revenge. And so for me, I didn't think it was right, first of all, to use this gentleman who earlier had gone to the former finance minister's house, for which the majority leader had to apologize, you understand? So I think we don't need to... I'm a bit surprised that he's more or less the one leading this particular charge. And so now everything that happens, somehow you want to believe that, well, this guy is on a mission. But having said that, I think clearly this thing must be managed properly. I don't think it is in the interest of the president or in the interest of the IGP or in the interest of whoever is sanctioning this to be told that, look, we are not in the banana republic, right? I mean, it should be obvious that you know what this means. The Bank of Ghana governor, assuming all the things we've heard, the tales we are hearing, that he has something in his house. Anyway, those things are not official. And I asked myself, how crude is it really that you went in simply because you want to retrieve so-called material that is being used to spy on people? I don't even know the veracity of all of that. In the same vein, people are not trying to believe that these guys who acted in a thuggish manner had gone to steal food. Sorry, food. I didn't hear that part. I was going to steal.
You didn't hear that part, but you tweeted the food bit.
Well, listen, people say all sorts of things. Listen, look, as far as I heard, they're going to steal some 10,000, this, whatever. I mean, in the same way, I'm likely to not believe this cock and bull story that someone has put some, whatever, machine Charlie, look, I think we need to get serious. The Deputy Attorney General has come to say that, in fact, he tweeted yesterday, put a post up, and it was a very sensible post, right? Essentially saying that there's a gentleman who has been picked up, and the wife and the family are there. He's going to see them and explain the process to them. If that was done civilly, probably there's a word like that, or very responsibly, I don't see why the Bank of Ghana governor should be treated like a common criminal. I mean, I don't understand. I'm not saying common criminals are not humans, but are probably more humans. But my point I'm trying to say is that I think we should act to some level of decorum. You go to do a search, you do it nicely. First of all, I'm told what you've heard. You actually tell the person, this is why we are here. So maybe the person actually even leads you, make sure it follows you to see whatever you want to take. You take it, you make sure you tell him, well, this and this is what I've taken, and then you leave. If there was no, I don't get the sense that there was this civil order. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run to the minority leader to go and complain that, look, this is what they come to do to me. And I think we need to move. If there are previous infractions that have been committed by politicians, please, let's do it in a very simple manner. I don't think it is right. And I would suggest to Mr. President that I don't think Mr. Jampa should be leading this. That it's kind of a character, really. And I don't think it does any good to whoever national security or whoever sends the persons like that to go and do this kinds of searches. I think it speaks really, really badly of the service. Thank you.
Franklin, welcome to the program. Been a long while.
Yeah, it's been ages.
Yes. And I see you in your Resetting Ghana T-shirts. And these searches and the manner we are conducting them, in which we're conducting them, the invitations, etc. Is this part of the resetting agenda? Is this how we are resetting the country?
Oh, good morning to your wonderful viewers. Good morning to Mr. Bright. It's been a while since I saw him. I served under him when I was a state attorney as well as a prosecutor. You see, first and foremost, whatever we do in this country is governed by the Constitution, and is also governed by the laws or statutes that accompany it. And so, and especially with criminal law, everything is based on statute. While nothing is a crime unless it is stated in the statute or the punishment prescribed for it. And even the procedure by which we conduct investigations, the procedure by which we do detentions, everything about criminal law is governed by statute. And so if you go out of the statute, then you are what? You are breaching somebody's fundamental human rights, and remedies are made available for such a scenario. Now, the first point is we are dealing with the issue of warrants and searches. In fact, the subject matter is searches, and whether or not police or the security agencies can embark upon searches, what is the remit of their jurisdiction when it comes to these searches. These searches or searches under the criminal law are governed by statute. There are searches that are done with warrants. There are searches that can be done without warrants. So generally searches are done with warrants. That's the general position. And it's governed by Section 88 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1960, Act 30, specifically Section 88(1), where generally a search warrant is issued by a district magistrate upon an application. And it gives the reasons or what you must convince the magistrate about in order for you to be able to gain or for the magistrate to issue the said warrant. I don't want to bore people, but there's generally where there's a suspicion that you have in your custody, or you have a premises or whatever that contains certain evidence or some piece of information, something that the police or the security agents require, and therefore they need to go in and take it. then the court, and of course it must be connected to an alleged crime, or you must be suspected of having committed a crime with that particular item. And so once that item is in your custody, the police go to the magistrate and make the application. The magistrate then issues a warrant for them to embark upon the search within your premises. And I like people to look at, of course, this is always a balance between your right to privacy, because everybody has a right to privacy in your home. And so when that privacy is being breached, then that privacy must be breached in accordance with what? Law. And I'd like people to take a look at this case. Edmond Addo versus the Attorney General and Inspector of Police, 2017, is one of the online reports. Judy Law, 67169, High Court. The late Anthony Yeboah, who was then the human rights judge, in discussing Section 88, noted as follows, quote, this section, that is Section 88, provides in effect that where a person who is suspected of having committed, so key emphasis, where a person who is suspected of having committed or is being about to commit an offense has in his possession or under his control any item of property that is believed to be associated with the alleged or suspected commission of the offense, the person or the item may be searched by the police with a warrant that is issued under the hand of a magistrate. Thus, the right to privacy of the person is legally or lawfully limited or restricted by the issuance of a warrant by a magistrate. So, in given circumstances, your right to privacy in your home can be interfered with by a warrant issued to a security official to conduct a search. Now, even the time of conducting the search is circumscribed by law. So Section 89 says that generally, the searches are supposed to be conducted between 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. However, at the discretion of the court may authorize the police officer
On Sundays.
or other person to whom it is addressed to execute it at any hour. So the court may decide that based on certain exigencies, the officer is permitted to conduct the search at any given time. Now, Section 90 and 90, let me move to even 91, that's of Act 30, talks about what happens when the items are even detained. So when items are detained from a suspect, there are rules and regulations about how it can be or how it should be used for purposes of evidence. The court can authorize the further detention even until appeal. So if the detention of the items is even governed by law, and then you come to where under sections 93 and 94, when the search can be conducted without a warrant. So it is very possible to have a search conducted with or without a warrant. Now, the next point is, are searches new under the Fourth Republican dispensation, especially when it comes to politically exposed persons? No. Since the time of President Rawlings, when President Rawlings exited power, the then officials who were in President Rawlings' government were subjected to various times of going into their homes. The late Victor Salome, Mr. Chachu Chikata, them, all the NDC officials that were put before court, some way or somehow had their premises what? Searched. Let's go to the immediate past, when the NDC left power in 2012.
Okay,
2012. This current Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
No, 2017.
2017,
Yes, 2017.
Dr. Yine. On the advice he gave when it came to Ameri, there's been a long established tradition that Attorney Generals cannot even be investigated for advice that they give. You don't criminalize legal advice. If you criminalize legal advice, the Attorney Generals will be open to all manner of, simply because they advise on almost every transaction in the country. Dr. Yine was the subject of a raid on his home without a warrant. To date, when they asked Eduji, my brother Eduji was his lawyer, Eduji filed in court a search seeking to know where the warrant came for Dr. Ayine's home raid. Up to today, that search has not been answered.
So on the screen is,
Yes,
some of the
CCTV,
Dr.
Addison's
Addison's
home.
home. And
Then you have Mr.
Japa.
Mr. Jinapo.
John Jinapo.
John Jinapo. In Parliament, on the floor of Parliament, he narrated his experience and the ordeal he went through with his family when his home was searched. Then you would even come to the late, not the late, Mr. Kwabra Donko, Minister for Energy. In all these instances, these persons were subjected to searches in their homes, with or without warrants. And they went through the due process. In the case of the former finance minister, for example, he has gone to court saying that he feels that his human rights have been violated under Article 33. That is the recourse to law. So if you feel that your rights have been violated one way or the other, you have a right to what? To go to court and to vindicate your right in court. That based on this, I feel that the search was not lawful, my rights have been violated, I have not been dealt with fairly. Whatever it is that you have a grievance with, you can go to court.
The point is, so Ayine, now Attorney General, then Deputy former, John Jinapo, then Deputy Power Minister, now Substantive Energy Minister, they spoke about those things because then they complained, perhaps because of how it was carried out. We have moved on, and we are in 2025. The same things they complained about, should the same things be visited on them?
I think that they made the point that their homes were raided. You understand?
And they were not happy with it.
Obviously, nobody will see. That point is this: when you are the subject of an investigation, you understand? Maybe we should come back to our laws and agree. You see, that's the thing about politics. You begin to see things differently when you are no longer in power. But since you have subjected others to the same, they say that the same stick you used to beat Techi is the same stick that they used to beat Bar. When we have all suffered it and we decide that, okay, as politically exposed persons, knowing that cyclically we all leave power at a certain point, let's regulate even how search warrants are carried out. So let's amend the Criminal Procedure Act and come out with better or more specifics. That look, when you come to the suspect's home, you must make sure that you you don't tear the place apart. Whatever, the same state, you take pictures of how the room was when you went there. In fact, in this era of technology, make sure that the search is recorded. All searches must be recorded, so that there must be a video evidence of the manner in which the search is carried out. Let us have the room, the same way you saw the state of the room. It must be the same way you live. You will recall when the FBI raided Puff Daddy's. You saw the state of the room, the way they left Puff Daddy's residences. They don't come back and clean up. You saw the state of the houses as it were when they raided. So even if there are advanced jurisdictions in the US and other places, police raid and FBI raid people's homes and they leave it in a state where the people feel dissatisfied with the state. With how much more Ghana?
Yeah, but they can learn from us. We can be better.
Exactly. Great. So if you are now calling for reforms, let us call for reforms. He made a point
that the proper thing to do is to leave the
I leave that one to him because he is the professional.
Professionally, you don't go and make
a mess.
Put the blame.
Yes, I understand.
And just leave.
I agree with you
because it is not like I said. It is not a vendetta.
Of course,
personal vendetta.
Of course,
it is a case. It is an investigation.
You are looking for something.
Yeah, you are looking for. So once you finish, you must also show courtesy to the person that has.
I agree with you.
By what you are saying about those searches that were made in the past,
correct,
against
Ayine.
I don't think they had warrants.
Well, they said they had some of them said they had warrants.
And again, the warrants. Who were the warrants given to?
In fact, in the case of Dr. Ayine, his phone, his laptop were seized by sent to Kroll as an associate in the UK.
Yes.
Eduji went to pick it from the police after they had conducted their
because
investigations.
those doing the searches are not professionals who have been trained to do searches. And this is what we want to discuss.
What I hear from my friends in the MPP is calls for reform. And I agree that once you have, see, the thing is this, you only become politically wiser when you leave power. And when the same thing you did to your opponents is applied to you, then you begin to feel that, oh, so what I was doing when I was in power, this is the same way it feels. So now that probably we've had the full circle, and we agree that, look, this thing about searches and this thing, maybe there's a better way of doing it. Let us agree and then introduce legislation in Parliament. You understand? Nothing prevents the minority leader and other MPs from introducing a bipartisan bill in Parliament governing how searches should be conducted.
To protect the political class.
Not to protect the political class, but to say that it is after we felt it, we all agreed that, look, we could do it better. You understand? So let us introduce enhanced legislation to regulate how searches should be conducted. At the end of the day, we all become beneficiaries.
Very well. Let's look at the specific case. So in this instance of Dr. Addison, do we know what the search warrant, authorized to be searched? Do we know the scope of the search warrant? Do we know that?
I know for a fact that the Honorable Minister of Interior will be briefing Parliament on Tuesday.
Okay.
On Dr. Addison's matter. I will not take the wind out of his sails. Let's all wait and hear him. He is going to brief Parliament on the basis, whatever the issues were that led to the search in his house. When he's done and he presents his, because Parliament is a house of record, we will all be better informed. And if we need to get further information, there's a right of information that everybody is available to every citizen to be able to get the necessary information. But I know that they have indicated that these, especially the Deputy Attorney General, that all the persons whose houses were raided with the full authorization of the Office of the Attorney General. And they are suspects in specifically related offenses. They've stated those kinds of offenses. And so we are waiting. I think that Tuesday is just around the corner. I will wait. Let the Minister of Interior come forth.
The dismantling and the disengagement of his CCTV gadgets, what was that for?
I repeat.
I saw your comment on.
I've made that one is on social media. I've made my post on social media. I'm still waiting for Tuesday. Let Tuesday come. I will not be pushed to make a comment on that.
The other point is, the minority leader has made some allegations.
Yes.
That the operatives stole money and jewelry. What information do we have on that?
So you see, you've heard a number of interesting allegations that have been made. Let's wait for Tuesday. With this conversation is not going to die anytime soon. We will come back to it. The Minister of Interior will be asked, because the minority leader made the allegation. He's in Parliament. He will confront him with those allegations in Parliament. He will respond to it. Then we are all better informed on what transpired, what happened, what it is that, and then we proceed. Because if you come and raid my house and indeed then he will make a complaint. As we sit here, I don't know whether Dr. Addison has made any complaint to the police that 10,000 has been stolen, his wife's jewelry has been stolen. Because when somebody steals something from...
Who says it has been stolen? Maybe they've taken
so
it as exhibit.
So let's wait and see.
Okay, maybe they've taken it as exhibit.
But my comment on the disabling of... because if he has installed equipment that enables him to see things he shouldn't see, I think
that's alleged.
I think he should have been invited first of all. He should have been invited to. This is what we have, and explain why you have these facilities or this equipment in your house. And if he's not able to give any satisfactory answer, and it requires that he be arrested, yes, he could be arrested and then taken to the house.
But should he be invited before, or the equipment should be taken?
No, I think he should be invited. First of all, we should question him about those equipment in the house.
But how do you know the equipment are in the house when you have not been there to search it?
They've got intelligence information that these were equipment in the house. I don't know.
But he may say yes or no. If he says no, before you go and raid the house, or you go and see,
But who
you go and see the
who do
equipment.
you think will admit to such
No,
things?
so yeah, so do you go and see the equipment so you can put it to him that this was in your house?
What I'm saying is
What were
there
doing
may
there?
be intelligence about this equipment in his house, which enables him to see things he shouldn't otherwise see. And so then he will be invited and questioned about those equipment. And if he's not able to give any satisfactory answer, or whatever answers he provides are not satisfactory, then either he should be arrested. Once you are arrested, you can be searched immediately. And then you'll be taken to the house and then maybe searched and those equipment removed. But for a search warrant to be issued for a specific purpose, and then you go the other dimension to of course disable, is what beat my imagination somehow. Because if I were the Director General CID and this information had come to me, this is what I would do. I'll call him, question him, and I say, no, we are not satisfied. Please, we need to immediately remove those things.
So this brings me to a question: how do the various investigative bodies of states operate? Do you share information? So you're saying if you were Director General CID and this matter, you would have acted so.
Yes.
But we know this was about national security. We know Iyoko too is on another leg.
Yeah,
how do you?
Your national security could have engaged the police as well. Because national security, I mean, it's a coordinating office. And so whatever information, some information go to national security. And of course, they look at the agency that has direct jurisdiction over the information that they have and task them to do it. If you have liaison officers from the other agencies who are working with national security, these officers can lead the kind of investigation that has to be conducted. So it shouldn't be a difficulty at all.
So who determines that maybe CID should lead this, BNI should lead this, or NIB should lead this?
It should be clear. It should be clear to whoever is the national security coordinator. But if this is a case of murder, if it's a case of maybe some roadblocks somewhere where people are being killed, it should be clear. Maybe if we need the military and police to do it, it should be clear. But where you have too many people at national security who are deployed to do some of this, it is what brings about some of this confusion, because the agencies are there and they are all working for the betterment of the country. And national security is to coordinate the activities of all these agencies. And national security sits in a position to get a lot of information. And so once it gets the information, then the agency that has to deal with that information can be invited, tasked with dealing with that information, and then feeding national security with whatever outcome they get. Because when it is going to court, I mean, either it's the police who have to prepare docket and go to court. But of course, national security must be briefed about whatever has been happening.
Very well. Prof, I've been joined also by Professor Kojo Appiah-Tua, who is a professor of law at the University of Ghana School of Law, of course, lecturer of many people, including Nibakpo Samuado here. Prof, welcome to the program. You have taught human rights and practiced it for many, many, many years. You've seen and you've lived over the years, seen military regimes, seen democratic governments. Are these we are seeing these days any different from what you have seen and experienced in the past in terms of the adherence to the rule of law or the breach of same?
Well, it's not a clear-cut answer. There have been situations where even under military regimes, care has been taken to follow the law. And there's also been situations under democratic regimes where there have been clear cases of violations. But the bottom line is that before you conduct a search, you should have obtained a search warrant. And the search warrant is to ensure that there are certain guidelines as to the search that you are asking for. There should be a scope. What are you going to search for? And where can you search, or in what way that the information that you obtain, that you have access to, is this something that you take, and if you pick this information, do you have to report back to the court, and so on. And so all those issues need to be will be laid down in the search warrants and before it will be granted by the courts, because this involves the search would involve likely violations of certain rights of the person involved, right to privacy, right to property issues, transparency issues all come in. Even dignity, because sometimes people are roughed up when the search is conducted and so on. So the people who live on the premises are left traumatized. So all those factors justify why a court process should be the way to go, and at the same time to guarantee that when the search is conducted, it will be done in an orderly, transparent manner, and it will not leave people asking questions, especially on the part of those whose premises are being searched. And so that should be the fundamental bottom line, the basics that need to be respected before a search is conducted. And so when that is done, then I think there will be a justification for the search that is done.
In the specific case we are discussing, which is the former BOG governor's home, we are told, and of course the Deputy Attorney General, I mean, there are quotes about him, of him, saying that his office authorized those searches. If we can see those quotes on the screen, I mean, it says that it says we take full responsibility for these searches. I can confirm they were conducted in accordance with legal procedures. We will not take anyone to court and ask for time to gather evidence. We will only prosecute when we have sufficient evidence. So here he is, the Deputy Attorney General, saying that his office takes full responsibility for it. It was done in accord with law and due process. Once this hurdle has been scaled, what?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
Yeah, so I'm saying that from what you're telling us, once it's been done in accord with law, search, warrant secured, etc., we should be fine with the process.
Yes, certainly. But I think that probably the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice would have done us a lot of good by confirming how the legality he's talking about came about. If maybe he went to a particular magistrate court or whichever forum he went to secure the search warrants. Because if he's talking about legality of the search process that took place at the former governor's office or home, one of the key legality or legal requirements will be obtaining the search warrant from a court. And so is there any evidence of that? If that is established, then what is the scope of the search warrants? What can they search and what are they looking for? And I think if the processes involved should also be as transparent, because you see accusations about theft and other misdemeanors or misbehaviors committed by the team that went to conduct the search. And there's the whole issue about the CCTV being taken away. That is also a big issue involved here. Were they taken away because they may have committed some abuses and they want to cover it, or it is a critical piece of evidence that led them to the premises in the first place, and it's covered in the search warrant that they are supposed to look for that, and if they find any evidence relating to that, then they can have access to that document to help them in their investigations. So all those pieces of puzzles need to be put together to be able to justify the legality of the event that took place on that particular day.
Very well. Let me speak to you briefly, COP Odro. The searches are done. Typically, walk us through the process. If you appeared in my house to search my house, what should happen? Normally, some of these operatives who appear Some of them are quite arrogant. You tell them anything, they won't listen because they will say they are under instruction. What is the process? You appear in my house. What can I ask you? What can't I ask you? What should you tell me?
Oh, we have a search warrant to search the house, and then you produce the search warrant for them to see. And then they are expected also to comply, to allow you to do the search. But as I said, you are only doing a search. You are not there to intimidate anybody.
Yeah, but that's what the law, the book says.
Yeah.
But we know that sometimes, you talked about vendetta. Sometimes there is vendetta. So when you appear in my house to do a search, I ask you of your search warrant. You should actually tell me first that you have a warrant. You don't tell me. And I ask you if you have a warrant, and you tell me you won't show it to me. What can I do?
It depends. Like we said, there are searches that are conducted without warrant. When I say the police officer of the rank of superintendent and above can either issue
or be the moving warrant himself.
Be a moving warrant. In that case,
Assistant superintendent.
The assistant superintendent, okay. Initially, I thought it was superintendent. The moving warrant thing is the assistant superintendent.
Yes.
So when he comes, he should explain to you that we are here to conduct search. And I am the officer in charge, and I'm a moving warrant. He should explain for you to understand before the search begins. And then there are other searches, like I said, when you are arrested, you don't need any warrant to go and search the person. You search the person, his body, and then you also take him to wherever you...
When you are arrested, you tell the person that you are under arrest.
You are under arrest.
So once you tell him you are under arrest, he's arrested, and you can search his person, take him to his house and go and search his house.
Yes.
Even without a warrant.
You don't need a
no
warrant.
matter your rank.
No matter your rank. The officer in charge can take you to your house and search you. And then this other one that you have to obtain
from the district magistrate.
District magistrate. So, but in all these cases, you need to explain to whoever is in the house that this is why you have come to the house to conduct search, and then put them at ease. It is not like I said, a personal vendetta. You are doing your job, a job for the state, and so people must be put at ease, at convenience, so that you can do your work very well. But courtesy demands. It is not at all cost that you should reset the place like as you came to meet it. But it is better for you to do that, to put the place back in the condition as you came to meet it, so that at least those that you searched will have confidence. Sometimes we even say these are people who will even be your one day confidence or cooperative individuals who will be giving you information. If you do these things, you get their confidence. You put their rooms, you put their premises in order the way you came to meet it, and they will then give you the respect. But it's always better to do that. You don't go and haphazardly take this, throw them here and that, and then you just leave. That is not courteous. That is why I'm saying that those who are doing the search must be people who have conducted searches before and know exactly
so
what
that's
to
the
do.
ideal situation. I'm asking this because you have the practical experience. That's the ideal, but it's not always the case that we have the professionalism in the process.
We have
so
them.
no, I mean the professionalism
We have
in
them.
the process of the search. You said those carrying the search must be trained to carry searches.
Yes.
It's not always that we have those carrying the search having that training or experience to carry out the search. It happens. Maybe usually they are trained, but not every time. So if they appear, I can't tell them that because they've not shown me a search warrant, I will not let them search. That is, if they are not above the rank of an ASP.
ASP, okay.
Can I stop them from searching if they don't show me the search warrant?
Yes, they have to show you the search
If
warrant.
they don't show me, can I stop
Otherwise,
them?
what is the point in obtaining the search warrant?
Yes, if they don't show me, can I stop them?
Yes, unless they are there with an officer who is a moving warrant.
So
Yes.
if the officer is not an ASP, above the rank of an ASP, as Section 94 of Act 30 says, and they don't show me the arrest warrant, you are telling me that I can stop them from searching?
But why would you have to go there without a search warrant? Why would you have to go there and do something you are not lawfully permitted to do? Because you cannot just go to somebody's house and say you are going to search when you don't have a search warrant. when you are not an officer above the rank of ASP. So,
I see.
Yes.
I see. The Honorable said a champon. So, I mean, here we are. Is it a case that we are calling for a reform? And you also said that it shouldn't be a matter of equalization. We did it to you, and so you're also doing it to us. We need to make progress. Nipako says if it's a call for reform, that's fine. Is it a case that we are calling for reform now because you did it? I mean, your people did it, and it is being done to you, quote unquote, and so you feel it now, and so you think that it wasn't proper and it's not proper today. So let's sit around the table and see how we can reform that.
Thank you very much. I listened to Ni's submission. Ni, good morning. No, but you totally forgot about me because you're empowered.
I'm sorry.
I won't say anything to you. I'm so sad. Anyway, good morning to everybody. I forgot to say good morning because I was woken up by what has happened. In fact, I'm happy Ni brought in Act 30, and I'm happy to state that Section 98 of Act 30 talks about the execution of a such warrant. And if you may permit me, just for the elucidation of our public who are watching us, let me read it out so that we are all clear. It says, a such warrant may be issued and executed on a Sunday and shall be executed between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. But the court may, by the warrant, authorize the police officer or other person to whom it is addressed to execute it at any hour. So clear. That is why in my earlier submission I was talking about I have not cited the warrant, so I can't speak to its content. I'm not asking for reform. I'm just asking that these laws were enacted by ourselves. And as we implement the laws, the same laws admonishes us the principle of natural justice. And if in conduct in theater, we've listened to an operative, COP by Todro, advancing arguments to best practice. And that's what we're speaking to. I'm not asking for any reform. No. What was wrong yesterday and is wrong today is still wrong. The law says it's wrong, it's wrong. So we should look into the future. We should look into the future. If we believe Act 30, enacted in 1960, is so old and archaic, and that we have to reform it. My senior brother, the learned Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene, I know very well and I respect so much, will put the proposals before us when government have decided to do so. It doesn't lie in my mouth. I'm not in parliament anymore. And I'll not write anything to my colleagues there to go and change this act. No. We've all been living with it. It's a procedure that we practice with. But the good news is that the men going in theater, what counsel was offered them? The example of Puff Daddy that me cited, I have no worries about that. That's America. I don't carry everything about America. My party is in the same league with the GOP, the Republican Party of America. But I don't believe in what the current president of America does. I don't subscribe to that. I believe in Ghana, and I respect what happens in Ghana, because I'm a fully blooded Ghanaian, born and nurtured in this country. And that's what I'm advocating for.
I see, interesting. But there's politics also at play. I mean, besides issues of rights, issues of, propriety, professionalism, etc., there's also politics at play. So it was not for anything that the minority leader was the one who visited the governor, took pictures and put them out and addressed the press. And the manner or the language used in the press address was also political. So in doing all of this, we cannot discount politics we cannot discount politics. So that's a picture of the minority leader, Afenyomakin, and the former governor, Addison, in his house, you know, the day of the incident. All of this sends a certain signal. And it's politics, yes. So how should we be handling the political part? It's important, and the legal part, etc. Because if the search indeed was conducted in accord with law, then the hula baloo, you know, comes to nothing. But there's a politics, so how do we manage all of that?
So that is what I raised earlier, that as we live in this crucible, we live in this country. Fortunately, on this panel, the people who can be tagged as political animals are me and myself. The rest of your panelists are coming in with their specialized skills. However, we are all interrelated, and so the subject is connected to all of us. Politics is for every person. Everybody can become a political animal tomorrow. And so in as much as we pursue politics, that is why it is governed by a rule. That is why the rule spells out principles and practices for all of us to conduct ourselves within the set and stated laws. And so you cannot hide under the cloak of politics and say anything and expect to get away with it. Then the law is not being enforced.
I see.
News is worthy. So when the minority leader had opportunity, he wanted to create news. He created news. We are discussing him.
The government, of course.
How many operatives? It is not only the Honorable Ken Oforiatta and Dr. Addison who worked under the duration of the last administration, who are been taken and who have had to have issues with the state, and the state apparatus is relating to them. There are several matters. Why are these coming up? Which means something occurred. That which occurred is that I am speaking against, because I don't want to see it happen again. You can go on record and check what I said when my party was in government and the conduct of operatives came up and how we approached them. I will not turn around and say that I'm more MPP, I'm more pious, I'm more nationalistic, I'm more Ghanaian than any person. Objectivity is objectivity. When it is wrong, it is wrong. When it is right, it is right. Unfortunately, I'm not in Parliament, but I'll be observing from the sidelines to listen to my senior brother, the Honorable Muntaka, on Tuesday, as me stated, because he is now having jurisdictional control over the national security apparatus.
I see.
Because the law says so. He's not doing so because he's interior minister, but the law says that a minister must represent and must report on behalf of the national security to the people's representatives in the House of Parliament. And so he's going to go there by law. It's not just because he's the interior minister, no. And so it's the same law we are discussing. That is why I'm concerned that we respect the law and not just human beings.
Very well. So so the government is responded in many forms. So Shamima Muslim, who is the deputy government spokesperson, in responding to the raid, said that, of course, I think she was asked when she was here to be fully briefed. So she said, I'm yet to get to the office to receive a full briefing on the matter. But what I can say is that there are some actions going on, there are some investigations ongoing, and there are persons of interest who will now and again be invited to help the investigation process. There are means of gathering information, and one of the means is to visit the homes of these persons of interest. I will just say that we should execute these processes with due recourse to due process, and once we are doing that, we should have no problem. So that's Shamima Muslim. Let's hear the Deputy Attorney General himself, Justice Remshai, speak on the matter.
We are, as much as we can, pursuing persons who are believed or are suspected to have looted, state assets, being money or other properties, we are committed, and work is going on day and night for that to be done. Most importantly, we are also doing so within the framework of rule of law, because as you may know, there have been instances in the past where persons who are suspected have been arrested in manners that don't comply with the rule of law, where violation of human rights and other laws have been broken just because people are suspected. We work with other institutions, and people submit complaints. So, but every search that you see, is part of the government framework to fight the corruption, and we'll take responsibility for the search that are happening, and we want to make it clear that those searches and the mode in which they were done in accordance with law. Warrants were procured, and warrants were used to conduct those searches.
All right, great. So Franklin, I mean, in the absence of
sorry, Solomon, can I come in?
Okay, sure, quickly, yeah.
You see, I was quite relaxed when I quoted section 89 of Act 30, because that's what I haven't cited the warrant.
Yes.
So listening to the learned Attorney General, I can now say that maybe on the warrant, the second leg of section 89 is out of play. It says any hour. But if it turns out that any hour was not on, and you go to the man's house at 3 a.m., and the law says 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., this is the confusion.
I see.
This
Great.
is the confusion.
So Franklin, I mean, hearing the Deputy Attorney General, hearing Shamima Muslim and all of that for you, somebody who wants things done a certain way, human rights, etc., that should put you at some ease.
Well, if it's in connection with what we just saw displayed on TV and what we've heard from the other side, I'm not sure the two are the same, right? But what I think he's saying, the Deputy Attorney General is saying, is that, well, these are lawful things they are doing, and probably they intend making sure that the right things are done, which is why he issued another statement after the gentleman from the signals, what was it called?
National Signals Bureau.
Yeah, was picked up as well. And I think he issued a statement that was comforting to hear. I think what we are trying to say is that, look, you can't act in a brute man. I don't think those things are nice to do. I mean, the fact that you're being asked to go and search, it's not a call for going to war. You know, it's the way you re-enter, the way the person's leading it. So those things, they are not nice. Even military type government these days are reformed. And so we don't want to hear these kinds of things about. It's a brute. It's quite thuggish. It's uncivilized.
I see, Prof. Your thoughts generally on the Deputy AG's comments. I mean, I'm sure you taught him the things he's practicing. What is the things you taught him? Hello, Prof.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Hello. Yes. Thank you. Yes. On the face of it, I don't have any problem at all with what he said, because it follows due process. But as I said earlier, it's about the details of it. So, was the search warrant obtained from, I mean, where was it obtained? What is the scope of it? And issues regarding judicial control of the process or judicial oversight, so that having obtained the warrant from the judiciary, when the information, everything is done, and there's information obtained, evidence, and so on, the judiciary should be able to have some oversight over this. And so these are what we don't know. And so on the face of it, we'll grant him the benefit of the doubt and say that what he did was right. What he said was right. But there's also the possibility that what the Attorney General did would be right, but what the executors of the search warrant did could be wrong. We can draw a line between the two, because somebody earlier alluded to professionalism and so on. So it is how the search is conducted by those who were asked to do the search. Number two, those who went to do the search. There are different security agencies involved in doing searches. And usually when you mention the NIB, formerly the BNI, it connotes it connects to past military regimes and how they brutalize people and so on. And so probably somebody would have said, why didn't the police go to do this job? So that it will bring some sort of human face to the whole process. And so for me, these are the petty issues that probably the Attorney General should have drawn his mind to avoid a situation where people will criticize, even though what they did was right. And if we are talking about what the executors did, based on the information that the minority leader is saying, stealing of money and trying to intimidate the inhabitants of the premises, that raises some human rights issues as well. And so it's a question of making sure that when such searches are conducted, the people who do it will do it in the right manner. And in talking about transparency, there should be a means of recording. I don't think those who are being searched are prevented from recording the proceedings. So it doesn't necessarily call for reforms to say that when the search is being conducted, it should be recorded. Those who are being searched can record the process. And when money is being taken, they can challenge that. And even record, if it is audio recording or something, they can do that and put it outside for people to know that this is the excesses to which those who conducted the search did, so that we know and not blame the Office of the Attorney General for what it did, but for some excesses committed by those who conducted the search warrant. So that next time we will get professional people who can do such searches, do it in a transparent manner, even maybe go with the media to record it. And then we can see that that transparency will prevent a situation where there will be some narrative coming from another source that seems to discredit what they want to do over there.
Very well. I see. The issue about the Interior Minister going to Parliament on Tuesday may not happen. So maybe our bubbles, may not happen because the majority leader said that is not the case. And if you visit ChannelOne TV, the headline is Ayariga denies Interior Minister summons, Defense Addison's home raid. And it says, let me read portions of it. The majority leader, Muhammad Ayariga, has dismissed claims that Parliament has summoned Interior Minister Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak to appear on Tuesday, March 25, 2024, over an operation at the residence of former Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison. Early on, there were reports that the Business Committee of Parliament had scheduled the minister's appearance to brief lawmakers on the matter. However, Ayariga stated that this decision was made without his approval. Quote, I have reached out to the Minister for the Interior. He is unavailable on Tuesday to brief the House, and also we cannot be bringing ministers to come and brief the House. The rules are clear. So to say that you are bringing a minister to come and brief the House, under which standing orders are you bringing the minister to come and brief the House? He questioned.